Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and March of the Machine Quick Drafts just went live on Arena, so today's video we'll be playing our very first quick draft of the format. Without further ado, let's get into our Pack 1 Pick 1. As you can tell, this is a 2 rare pack. We've got our normal rare Quintorius Loremaster and a rare from the Multiverse Legends, Atris Oracle of Half-Truths. Those are going to be the best cards in this pack. Those are going to be the cards competing for our Pack 1. We have Atris Oracle of Half-Truths being the card I think I'm going to take. 4 mana for a 3/2 menace that lets us draw a card out of the top 3. It is going to be our opponent's choice. They get to separate those cards into 2 different piles, try to mind game us into taking the worst cards out of the top 3, but no matter what, you're getting decent value off this card and a solid menacing threat, so very big fan of Atris. Quintorius is pretty fun too. I've never gotten to play a Quintorius deck, and I don't think today is going to be the day, because Atris is good no matter what, whereas Quintorius is a card that really benefits from you filling your graveyard with non-creature, non-land cards. So ideally a deck with a ton of instants and sorceries, then you try to spit out some spirit tokens and maybe sacrifice them to recast some stuff. So Quintorius is pretty cool, but Atris is just always great value the second it hits the board, even if it's immediately removed, which is excellent, and Atris doesn't require you to build your deck around him nearly as much as Quintorius would. So start off with the Oracle of Half-Truths and see what we get for Pack 1, Pick 2. This is a very solid pack here. I love all 3 of these uncommons. Norn's Inquisitor is just a lot of stats for its mana cost. For 2 mana you get a 1/1, and then another 2 mana you flip that Incubate token into a 3/3. Really good for decks with a lot of Incubators to be getting an additional +1/+1 counter on every Incubator token that we flip into a Phyrexian. This will also put a +1/+1 counter on any of the flip creatures in this format, like Captive Weird, because all of these are flipping into Phyrexians as well. So Norn's Inquisitor can be really good, but we did start with Atris in blue-black, and Captive Weird is also a very, very good card that's in the colors that we currently are. 1 mana for a 1/3 defender can hold your opponent off for a little bit, as well as convoke things really easily since it's only 1 mana. And then later in the game, you can spend 3 mana and 2 life, or 3 mana and a red, to flip this into a 3/3 and draw a card off of it. You do have to cast that card, or you have to play that card by the end of your next turn, but that still gives you plenty of time to untap all your lands and cast it next turn. So Captive Weird is a great piece of card advantage in the colors that we already are, so that's what I'm going to take here. Our third uncommon's pretty great in the pack as well, but we're not going to take it for the same reason we won't take Inquisitor, just because it is off color from Atris, and Captive Weird is just as powerful as these other 2, if not better anyway. So we're going to roll out the Captive Weird and see where we go from there. For Pack 1, Pick 3, the strongest card in the pack is Tandem Takedown, but that is very far from our first 2 picks. We could still take it here to be super open and not married to our Atris Captive Weird start here, but I think Assimilate Essence plays really well in these blue-black decks. You tend to have a lot of instants, so you can hold up counter spells more easily, and Assimilate Essence, the format has been fast enough that it pretty much always counters something, and even when it doesn't, it does give you a backup little Incubator token to make up for that. So Assimilate Essence is played pretty well in the blue-black and blue-red decks, not really so much in blue-white or blue-green, but right now we're currently headed in the blue-black direction where I think it'll play pretty well. Ichor Drinker would be good as well, but other than Takedown, Assimilate Essence, Ichor Drinker, not a super strong pack here, so don't feel too bad taking just a counter spell here. For Pack 1, Pick 4 now, we see another very interesting card from the Multiverse Legends. Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, is a 5 mana 3/1 with Cascade. That means when you cast her, even if they counter her, you get to exile cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card with mana value less than 5, any non-land with mana value less than 5, and then you'll cast that spell for free. So 5 mana 3/1 isn't a good deal, but like 5 mana for a 3/1 and a Captive Weird, pretty great deal. 5 mana for a 3/1 and an Atris is an incredible deal. She's obviously pretty bad with counterspells, so now I'm probably not going to draft any more of those, but Emoti's a really, really strong card, even without the secondary effect of being able to cascade off mana value 6 or greater. If you get to do that, that is the icing on the cake there. That's where things start going overboard when you're doubling up on all your 6 mana spells as well. So really like the Celebrant of Bounty, and this is a format with dual lands in most of the packs, as well as a lot of good fixing in green, so it's definitely a format you can splash a bit for something as strong as Emoti when she only needs 1 green and only needs 1 blue. Not a hard splash. We'll take the Celebrant of Bounty here and be pretty happy about it. For pack 1 pick 5, we have a lot of decent options. Converter Beast can spit out a very large incubator in green. Invasion of Pyrelia is a solid battle if you're aggressive enough to try to flip these. Gift of Completion is an okay card if you have a lot of Phyrexians. And Azumi Informant is just a very solid early drop for any black deck. Good at convoking, giving you a chump block, and going from there. So I like a lot of these cards a good amount. I think I'd rather be blue-black splash the green right now, just because Atris is the cheaper card here and the slightly stronger card than Emoti, in my opinion, so I kind of want to take Nazumi Informant. Not super in love with Gift of Completion over Informant here. They're both pretty close, but I think Completion's a little slower. Invasion of Pyrelia, the reason I don't love just pushing into that is you want to be an offensive deck to be able to flip your battles pretty well, and we're currently looking pretty defensive, going for late game value, grinding out a long game rather than getting aggressive, getting enough power and toughness to flip this early, where it will be really nice. So I think I'm going to take Nazumi Informant here, try to stick to blue-black, and splash the green, see if that'll work out. Pack 1 pick 6 here, we've got an Aetherblade Agent, which is a very nice creature for a deck like this. 2 mana for a 1/1 Death Toucher is going to block really well at any point, and we can flip it later to potentially start attacking in and drawing us extra cards. So really nice, cheap little defensive card here that can play the offense as well later. So love me an Aetherblade Agent here over the Assimilate Essence, mainly because, again, I did say I don't really want to take any counterspells with potential Cascade in this deck, but also because Aetherblade Agent is a super sweet card. Pack 1 pick 7 looks pretty exceptional for us. We have Dismal Backwater for mana fixing, we have Unseal the Necropolis for late game value play, and Scornblade Berserker for a great early game creature. Love all of these a lot. They would all fit pretty perfectly into any blue-black deck. I think I'm going to go with the Scornblade Berserker. This card's really good if we get any Convoke cards. There is one really good one in black at uncommon, and a lot of them in blue. Just gives us another 1-mana creature to Convoke with really easily. Mainly, you're going to be playing this, getting a +1/+1 counter on one of your relevant creatures, like Captive Weird or Aetherblade Agent that might actually be attacking later, and then you can just get a chump block and a card draw off of this, which is just a lot for a really cheap mana investment. So Scornblade Berserker just plays really well, gives you a good amount of stuff to do with your extra just 1 mana lying around. Love the card quite a bit. And Unseal, again, being a great late game play, we'd love to pick some up, but hopefully we can get them later as they are common. Same with the mana fixing from Dismal Backwater. Alright, pack 1 pick 8 is going to be pretty simple. Just take the on-color removal, Vanquish the Weak. Not the greatest removal in black. We have Deadly Derision in this color, which is phenomenal. Destroys any creature or planeswalker and gives us a treasure token. We also have the -2/-2 that we can sack a creature to make it -6/-6. Both of those are better than Vanquish the Weak, but that doesn't make Vanquish the Weak bad. It doesn't make Vanquish the Weak unplayable. It's still a solid card. It's just not the greatest. We have a little bit of an interesting choice for pick 9. We could take Gloomfang Mauler to have some swamp cycling. This is basically going to be a 7-mana, just big creature if we draw it late in the game, and if we draw it early in the game and need more lands, then it's also flexible enough to let us grab a land. Alternatively, there's just Tranquil Cove, which would leave us open to splashing white if we open up a sweet white card. So either of these are the 2 picks. I think I'm going to go for Gloomfang Mauler. I like the idea of a card that's fine early and fine late. Not a huge fan of Failed Conversion. Black has Vanquish the Weak and Deadly Derision and the 2-mana -X/-X spell. Those are all better than the conversion, so I don't think I really need to take it. I'm just going to take a Skittering Surveyor again in case we get pretty splashy, but for now, it's fine even to get the Forest for Emoti. Alright, pack 1 pick 11, we got that Ichor Drinker nice and late, which is fine if we get some Convoke spells that we want cheap creatures for. If we get any sacrifice cards, it's good with those, or if we get anything that cares about Phyrexians or Incubator tokens. Another Ichor Drinker for us, pick 12. We are definitely set up if we need the cheap creatures. Now a Moment of Truth for a fine card draw spell will probably get cut in the end. Same with Ichor Shade, a fine creature that could get bigger over time but will probably get cut. And we get a pick 15 Unsealed and Acropolis. Well, I was pretty sure I could get some Unsealed and Acropolises later. Did not expect to get one pick 15, but I'll absolutely take it. Pack 2, pick 1 now. We have 2 incredible cards for our blue-black deck. Halo Forager is the better card by a little bit in a vacuum, I would say. 3 mana for a 3/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you can spend X to recast an instant or sorcery from any graveyard with mana value X. So 3 mana for a 3/1 flyer on curve, or you play it turn 6, turn 7, and recast a removal spell when you play it. Make it a 2-for-1 creature plus removal, which is absolutely exceptional. That being said, it's competing with a card that's a lot more fun. I mean, this is pretty fun, but C Double is super, super fun. 4 mana for an instant speed clone. You can copy a spell on the stack or a creature on the board at instant speed, which is great. And if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you get to do both. You get to copy whatever spell they're casting, as well as one of the creatures on the board. So C Double is pretty sweet in the blue-black deck, where you can mill both players with cards like Unsealed and Acropolis to fill those graveyards, get towards those 8 cards in grave, and there's a really sweet combo you can potentially pull off with this with a common in the format. There's a common creature that will mill each player 2, and then put an instant or sorcery from your graveyard back on top of your library. With that, you can C Double, make a copy of that creature, and then use the copy of the creature to put C Double back on top of your deck. You can do that every single turn because you're just going to keep top decking the C Double, and then whenever your opponent has 8 or more cards in their grave, you can then copy whatever spell they're trying to cast and copy your creature again to put C Double back on top, and then just do that again every turn. So C Double can do some really fun things in the format, and I'm going to go for that over the Halo Forager. The other reason is it's possible, but it would be pretty unlikely in a Premier draft, so I think it's pretty unlikely in a quick draft as well. But it's possible we wheel the Halo Forager because it's a 2-colored card, but pretty much impossible that we wheel the C Double. So I'm going to take that. Fingers really crossed we can get the Halo Forager back. That'd be exceptional. But if we can just get one of those common scabs that combos with C Double, I'll be fine with that too. Pack 2, pick 2. We have 2 cards competing here. The one I'm probably going to take is another Aetherblade Agent. We've already spoke on how this card's pretty sweet. There's also Doomscar Warrior. This is the stronger card in a vacuum by a lot. Really nice ability, being able to essentially draw you a card every time it hits somebody, and draw you a card whenever the creature that you back up onto hits somebody. So really, really good value play. That being said, it's a double green. Double green's a lot harder to splash than a single green source, so it would require some more investment in the mana base. And I think now that we have C Double and Atris and Emoti, I think we have enough powerful stuff that we don't really need to splash too much. We don't need to go for like double green splash cards here, even though it would be strong. So I'm going to go for Aetherblade Agent here. There's also Cyber Cryptomancer, which is a really nice blue card in any deck that has great creatures to protect. I don't think we have a ton that it's super relevant to, so we can grab these Cryptomancers later and still play them, but they're not a super high pick for this deck. We'll grab another Aetherblade Agent. Well, here we are for Pack 2, pick 3, which is absolutely loaded. We have another Captive Weird for a great value play, Xerax Strobe Knight, that is a potential army in a can if we can be casting 2 spells in 1 turn. Meeting of Minds, which is phenomenal because of that Convoke. Often 0 to 1 mana to draw 2 cards when you play this during your opponent's end step. And then there's also Final Flourish for a great removal spell. We are low on interaction. We are 3 picks into Pack 2 and currently only have 1 full-on removal spell, and it can only kill small creatures. So I think I'm going to do the safe and boring pick here and take a Final Flourish, because I feel like the bots probably take removal pretty highly, but they might not be 100% confident in when to take the great cards like Captive Weird Strobe Knight, Meeting of Minds. So just in case the bots like scoop up all our removal and we end up with none, I'm going to take the removal pretty highly, make sure I have that base covered. But I think in a Premier draft, I'd probably still take Final Flourish because I've noticed again in Premier drafts removal just vanishes so quickly. But it's really, really close. I think the strongest card in a vacuum is probably Captive Weird. Next up is Strobe Knight. The third best is Final Flourish. Only a tiny bit better than Meeting of Minds, but they're all incredibly close in power level. They're all fantastic. But we'll make sure we have some removal, have some interaction for whatever big, scary stuff our opponents are trying to do. For Pack 2, Pick 4, we have a Timuret Chosen from Death, which plays really well in these grindy blue-black decks. 2 mana for a 2/2 at worst. It can often get a little bigger and block very well, but the really good thing about this is the ability to start exiling cards from graveyards and gaining us life late in the game. Again, a lot of incidental mill in blue and black, a lot of cards that are going to mill both players, like the Nezumi Freewheeler. So this later in the game can just gain us enough life to survive an extra turn or two, and it's a solid 2-drop on curve. So I like the Timuret here over Freewheeler and Unseal by a little bit. Not a wide margin, it's not like a fantastic card, but I think it's a slight bit better than the Freewheeler and the Unseal. So we'll take it here. Pack 2, Pick 5 now, we have an incredible flip card. Blight Reaper Thallid is a 2-mana 2/2 that we can flip for 3 mana into a 3/3 and a 1/1 and an additional 1/1 when it dies. Just a lot of stats to get off of a single card. Blight Reaper Thallid is beautiful. It plays the offensive and the defensive really, really well. We're happy to scoop it up here. Wingspan's pretty fun, and Vanquish the Weak is solid removal, but I'm going to take the Thallid over both of those because again, Vanquish the Weak isn't Final Flourish, Vanquish the Weak isn't Deadly Derision. I would take either of those removal spells over the Thallid. Since the Vanquish the Weak is more narrow of removal, I think I can take the Great Thallid over it. And now we'll just take another excellent flip creature for Pack 2, Pick 6, Skyclave Aerialist. 2 mana for a 2/1 flyer, already good, and if you flip it later in the game, you're drawing a card off of it at worst. And at best, just putting a land right onto the board. So Skyclave Aerialist is the truth. Scoop it up. We're getting enough on-color cards that I think it's possible we might not splash green for a Moti. We might actually play Assimilate Essences for counterspell, so I think I'll take that here. Oilcaster theoretically works for the blue-black mill each player deck, because it becomes a decently sized menace creature later in the game, and it mills every time it attacks or blocks, but it just always plays a little too slow for its mana cost, in my opinion, so I would rather have an Assimilate Essence that might get cut if we still play a Moti than an Oilcaster that will almost definitely get cut no matter what. Alright, now for Pick 8, we can grab a Gift of Completion. Fine little card here. For 4 mana total, we'll be getting a 3/3 that's going to Surveil when it dies, and more importantly, all of our other Phyrexians will also Surveil when they die, so that's really good with like Blight Reaper Thallid, because once this flips, it's a 3/3 Phyrexian that comes with a 1/1 Phyrexian and another 1/1 Phyrexian when it dies. Alright, well, we're living the dream in this quick draft. The Halo Forager did wheel. We got to take Halo Forager and Sea Double out of our Pack 2, which is incredible. Those were by far the best cards for this deck. We're just going to add both of them. We now wheel the Saiba Cryptomancer if we want to run that. Now we have the Meeting of Minds wheeling as well. Render Inert is main deckable in this format if you have a battle or two, because you can use this to flip a battle and draw a card, and when you don't have a battle on board, you can use it to kill an opposing Incubate token and then draw a card. So it does a lot of stuff, but we don't have any battles right now. So I'd rather just take the Meeting of Minds card draw, especially because we have a lot of good 1/2 mana creatures. I mean, look at all that to convoke the Meeting of Minds. All right, Pack 2, Pick 12. I think I'll take another Unsealed Necropolis over the Expedition Lookout. This is a solid creature for the blue-black archetype because a 2 mana 2/3 defender can just hold your opponent off for a little bit, and when you do hit the late game, it will often be unblockable, which is awesome. But it is pretty slow, it takes a while for it to do much, so if we have enough other 2-drops, like I'd rather run those, and we have a lot of premium ones, right? Like we've got a Timuret, a Blight Reaper Thallid, a Skyclave Aerialist, 2 Aetherblade Agents. I just don't think it'll quite make the cut. Unseal can probably make the cut if we do want to try to get to the 8 cards engraved for C double, which I think is pretty likely. So we'll run that Unseal there. Throw negates to the sideboard. I'm going to say a negate, and then we got past another one, so I guess just throw negates to the sideboard and see what we open up for pack 3, pick 1. Well, it looks like we are splashing green then, because we've opened up the strongest black-green rare in the format and one of the strongest rares, period. Glissa, Herald of Predation, is a 5-mana 3/5, that's whatever, but at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can incubate twice, or transform all your incubators, or give all your Phyrexians first strike and death touch till end of turn. So, worst case scenario, 5-mana 3/5, move to combat, make 2 incubators. So if your opponent doesn't have instant speed removal, you're essentially getting a 5-mana 3/5 and 2 2-mana 2/2s attached to it. And if your opponent doesn't have removal for Glissa immediately, she will completely take over the game, making way too many incubators for them to deal with. So Glissa is absurd. Since we already have 1 Surveyor and we're potentially splashing Emoti, now we're pretty much guaranteed to be splashing a bit of green, playing Glissa and Emoti off of the splash, hoping to wheel the Jungle Hollow. If that doesn't wheel, maybe a Farah's Dispersal for great interaction, but Glissa is an absurd bomb rare. The other thing that we're hoping for out of this pack, outside of ways to splash green more easily, is the Scab. It's a common creature. The 5-mana 4/4 Scab that mills 2 and puts an instant or sorcery from grave on top is really important to making C double an absurd win condition, and we've seen 0 in this entire draft pod so far. So we have 6 more packs to try to see the instant sorcery recursion Scab that combos with that. So for pack 3, pick 2, we've got a Yarok the Desecrated. That'll double up all our enter the battlefield effects, which is pretty fun. I am already splashing green. It doesn't do anything by itself. We have to play this and then more spells. Not all of our creatures trigger it, but a decent number of them do. Let's see, 1 with Scornblade Berserker. That's not the greatest thing to duplicate, though. 1 with Cryptomancer. That's pretty good to duplicate. See, 3 now that we count Informant. 4 with Halo Forager. 5 with Skittering Surveyor. 6 with Atris. We have 6 ETB effects to duplicate. Yarok really seems more fun than actually competitive. I think if I wanted to be perfectly competitive here, we just grab Thornwood Falls and make the green splash really work better for the Glissa. Glissa is infinitely better than the Yarok. The one thing making us maybe play Yarok is that we are already splashing green. I mean, Yarok's a big, goofy, fun time. We'll go for it here and hopefully get lucky and wheel the Thornwood Falls. Alright, pack 3, pick 3. This is going to be some rough competition. We have Invasion of Amonkhet and Collective Nightmare. We're not doing super hot on removal. We have Vanquish the Weak and Final Flourish mainly. That's about it. I think that's literally it, so we do need removal pretty badly, but Invasion of Amonkhet is an incredible battle. Probably the best battle in the set. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 3, then each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. So not only is it a good battle, like having a solid front half, it's got an absurd back half if you flip it, making a 4/4 copy of the best creature in a grave. And it's really good at making sure our opponent has 8 cards in their graveyard, because the moment we play it, there are 4 extra cards in their grave. They mill 3 and discard a card, so it just seems so perfect for this archetype. I might take it here, but we did wheel a Halo Forager. Maybe we can wheel an Invasion of Amonkhet, get really lucky that there's just no blue-black drafters in the pod. Seems kind of unlikely, but we do need removal pretty badly. We only have 2 of them. I'm going to take Collective Nightmare because there's a 0% chance this wheels, but in this bot draft, I'm feeling like maybe a 25% chance at least Invasion of Amonkhet wheels. I'm definitely crossing my fingers here, but I'm going to take Collective Nightmare. Now for pack 3, pick 4, we have a very easy Final Flourish. And I've only got 4 more opportunities to see that Scab. Again, it's a common creature. We should be able to get at least 1 copy in pretty much any draft pod. 3 more chances to see it now. Kind of shaking in my boots. I think we take a Tidal Terror here for another basic land cycler that can trigger Emoti late in the game if we draw it and cast it. Another 6 mana spell. Huntmaster's fine. I don't think it's great for this deck, although we do have the Ichor Drinkers for it. But we might be cutting those. I'd rather just grab Tidal Terror. Another 6-drop. Alright, pick 6. We only have 2 more chances to see our scab that combos with C double. Disturbing Conversion is okay here. We already have 2 Unsealed and Acropolis. I don't think I want to take a third of that. But we've got a lot of cards that are milling both players now, so Conversion would be okay. Interaction, we could also just take the Gloomfang Mauler. Have another 7-drop to Cascade with Emoti. Sure, it's also fixing, it's fine. We can also take Timberland Ancient, actually. It's actually probably better than Gloomfang Mauler. Right off of Skittering Surveyor, Timberland Ancient, and a Forest, we'd already have 3 green sources in the deck, because Surveyor grabs it, Ancient grabs it, and the Forest is the Forest. So that way we might be able to play just a single Forest or 2 for the fix. Plus, if we do get like really lucky and have maybe 2 Forests on board or a Forest and a duel, when we draw this late, we can still do the Celebrant Cascade thing. I'll take the Timberland Ancient. Another Timberland Ancient or Meeting of Minds. Again, having a lot of 1, 2, 3 mana creatures. I think Meeting of Minds is great card draw. I don't think I really want to like double up on Timberland Ancients. We'll grab more card draw. And there we go. We didn't see any of the scab that combos with C double, so it's just going to be all by itself, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. We could use Flywheel Racer for fixing. We have a lot of 1 and 2 drop creatures, but I'd rather just have another Meeting of Minds. Dig into more lands. We did wheel the Jungle Hollow. I'll absolutely take that. Afara's Dispersal is great, but we need to get some green sources in this deck. Did not wheel the blue-green duel. Unfortunately, that would have went pretty well in here. I'll take another Unseal. I don't think I'm playing it, but 0% to play Skyliner Moment. I don't want to splash more green cards. Wow, we could have 4 copies of Unsealed and Acropolis in here if we want. Another Aetherblade Agent? Good lord. And we did not wheel the Invasion of Amonkhet either. Proving for the 50th time, I do not understand the bots and their life decisions. Alright. We have 53 cards in this deck. We get to cut 13 out of here, which I think we absolutely will. We didn't get exceptional green fixing, so I kind of want to drop down to just like the 2 green cards, the Emoti and the Glissa, the ones that are just definitely always great. Yarok will sometimes be hilarious and powerful, but unless I had tremendously good green fixing, I don't think I want 3 big green cards in here. And Timberland Ancient actually looks kind of bad in here. Like, we'd rather just run another Forest than the Ancient, if it's going to be super inconsistent to hit double green. Yeah, I actually don't think Ancient was the greatest choice over the Mauler. We probably could have just used another Gloomfang Mauler, because the thing that we have to consider is that this requires double green to get cast later on, so it's pretty much almost always just Forest cycling. Right? If my plan was to use it for mana fixing and have Forest, Jungle Hollow, Skittering Surveyor, and Ancient, the odds of me having Forest and Jungle Hollow on board are tremendously low. So this is basically a Forest that costs us 2 mana to put it in our hand. Like, just running a second Forest is just better. Yeah, I don't think the Timberland Ancient idea was the greatest there. Don't think that particularly worked out. We do have a lot of incidental card draw. Well, not incidental, but like triggered card draw off of this. This draws a card when we flip it. This draws a card when we flip it. And then we have 3 just straight up card draw spells with Meeting of Minds. So we're going to dig pretty far towards the potential Forest. So running 2 green sources in the deck is about 1 out of every 20. But if we dig pretty far each game, like Glissa and Emoti are both very late game plays. We also have Skittering Surveyor making it 3 out of 20. I could play 1 more green source, but I think 2 might be okay. with this card draw, I think we'll probably be 20 cards deep most games. We start 7 cards deep already. By the time we hit turn 7, we're 14 cards deep. So if we've drawn 4 extra cards by turn 7, we'll have seen a forest, even without Skittering Surveyor. I guess I could see how difficult my blue and black cards are. We can probably run double forest here. We definitely got to hit double black early, but we don't need double blue until C double later in the game. So we can cut like a blue for a green. Just, let's see, 7, 14, 15, 16 lands right now. Yeah, so we add another land, so we can add another swamp. 8 black sources, 7 blue sources, 3 green. It'll probably end up somewhere around there, but we'll edit it again later when I change the non-land cards. Alright, so 11 cards to cut. I am going to be splashing green for Glissa for certain, so we're going to run a Moti as well, which means we want to cut the counter spells because they're just really bad cascades. Don't love this Moment of Truth with triple Meeting of Minds. Gift of Completion also might be a bit slow. Got a lot of 1/2 mana creatures. I think these Meeting of Minds are going to be great. Ichor Shade is also pretty slow. Slowly but surely getting bigger. Halo Forager's late game play. So cut these 3. Still got to cut 6 more cards out of here. I guess now the only card that we have that cares about an opponent having 8 or more cards in grave is C double, so we don't really need to work that hard for it. We could cut one of the unseals. Still a good value play later in the game, but we don't really get much value from milling our opponent anymore. I could just drop the Emoti plan and be on a super fast curve, because I'm not going to land cycle these very early on turn 1 or 2 because I have so many 1 and 2 mana plays. So we're just like dumping these out, flipping them into bigger creatures, and beating down, and just using removal on their bigger stuff, the double Final Flourish for sure. Keeping the path clear, using Meeting of Minds to stay fueled. For late game win conditions, we C double their biggest threat, or Halo Forager removal value, Glissa to take over the game. Yeah, I mean, with only 2 cards that trigger the extra cascade from Emoti, she's just going to be the front half, which is good, but maybe not entirely necessary here, because I don't think these are good in the deck without the Emoti. Could drop those. That puts us down to 42 cards as well. I mean, at that rate, we could just be straight blue-black, speed, convoke, and not run Glissa. Glissa's so dang good, though. But then we can, cut some lands here, because Meeting of Minds can be played for basically, 2 mana. I am kind of interested in that. Just light speed the deck. We get to cut a Skittering Surveyor Glissa. Put in some more cards to cut some lands. It's kind of interesting. Although I don't even know if I cut lands, because we got 4 mana flip abilities all over the place. 1 mana to bring this back from grave, 2 to transform it, 3 mana flip. Could see that being the thing. I do want to have some bomb power in here, so maybe we're a bit less consistent, but Gliss is such a huge bomb. It's probably worth it. The Cryptomancer, go with the Glissa. I'll drop 1 Aetherblade Agent. Timber's not that hard to cast. We've got 9. No, we've got 8 black sources. That's not horrible. I guess I could cut 1 land. But with Glissa, makes this 1 land a little more. But the curve still looks really low. When you treat Meeting of Minds as 2 drops that can draw more cards and try to find more lands, I think we can go 16. Not that we super want to, but if I just can't find... I could cut 1 of the Meeting of Minds instead and run 17. That's probably the way to go. Either cut a Meeting of Minds or cut a land here. This might be a bit greedy, but I really like the idea of like looping these together and just going. So I'm going to cut a land. So 16 lands, blue-black, still have the Glissa splash. I mean, if it's for one Glissa, probably drop down to just Surveyor Forest Hollow. I guess it's possible that I mill my one forest off of Unsealed and Acropolis, and then the only green source left in my deck is Jungle Hollow. I could see that happening. That's the only self-mill card that I have left in the deck, though, so that's the only card that can have it happen, so we can just wait till late game till we've already hit the green source to cast this most of the time anyway. Yeah, I think I want to keep 7 blue sources in, 7, 8, and 2 with a Surveyor. That seems pretty reasonable to me. I think we'll call it a deck there. All right, here we have a look at the final deck for today. It's going to be a blue-black Convoke deck. Tons of 1 and 2 mana creatures filling out the curve, getting really aggressive really quickly with 3 Meeting of Minds to use those creatures to keep drawing and dumping out our hand really, really quickly. So we're just going to make a massive board state as quickly as possible, remove our opponent's threats when we can with Final Flourish, Collective Nightmare, and Vanquish the Weak, and try to beat down for a lot of early damage. Late in the game, we have tons of good value. Again, with 3 Meeting of Minds drawing cards, Unseals, picking up creatures from grave, Aetherblade Agents, drawing cards when we connect with them, Skyclave Aerialist and Captive Weir drawing us cards when they flip. Lots of ways to just keep drawing cards and keep dumping whatever we draw onto the board. So that's pretty much the game plan. Dump our hand, draw more cards, dump those. And outside of that, we've got a couple bombs, Glissa being the one that we've splashed in that takes over the game on board, and Atris being the one that can just put us up a lot in card advantage with its Enter the Battlefield effect. We also have C-Double, which is pretty fun, especially if we can get it when our opponent has 8 or more cards in grave, so if we draw it really late in the game. But even by itself, it's going to be a fine card. Overall, pretty great stuff from this deck, and I'm very excited to see how it does as we head into the gameplay. And here we are for game 1 with all 3 colors thanks to Skittering Surveyor. Definite keep, we start things off on turn 2, and I can just flip the Thallid and start beating down with it if I want. Drawn to a Scorn Blade Berserker. Great flexible way to spend our mana later in the game. We could back up a 1/1 token and sack that as well if we just need to draw extra cards. And here's where that flexibility comes in pretty hot, because now I can play my flying creature and still get an attack in with this Thallid. To pressure my opponent's life total here. And get our board state as wide as possible, as quickly as possible. Well, this could be bad. They have a Xerox Strobe Knight on board, which is one of those cards you need to be able to kill ASAP, but we have not drawn any of our removal this game, so we cannot do that. Could just cycle the Scornblade Berserker immediately before I do anything else. Make my decisions from there. That seems fine to me. See if we can hit one of our removal spells. We can afford any one that we could draw, and there we go. There's the Final Flourish. I want to offer the trade still so I could keep Flourish for something else. Not particularly, since this will be drawing me a card later. I think I'm happy to just Flourish pre-combat and then get in. And they are now down to 12. We are getting aggressive here. Meeting of Minds is the play. They have to tap out their entire board state to do that. And we draw into Collective Nightmare for their next threat, potentially. Let's see, I could put 2 more power toughness on the board with Surveyor plus Informant. I do the same with Thallid. I make it 1 bigger and get a 1/1. With Aerialist, I draw a card, don't make my board state any bigger. I think I go Surveyor Informant this turn. Getting 2 more power toughness onto this board while also setting up the green source in case I draw into Glissa. Feels pretty good. And we also get to put them down a card here with Informant's Enter the Battlefield effect. And they are going to scoop them up. We'll start off this draft 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are on the play for game 2. We have Ichor Drinker into Aetherblade Agent no matter what. We can hit some lands into a green source. We have Glissa. Even if I don't hit lands, still play Cryptomancer. Just need a black source for Timuret. I'm going to keep here. Definitely could go wrong, but plenty of castable spells for now, regardless of what we draw. Get a Captive Weird, that's beautiful. So if I get a third land, I can flip that into attempting to draw another card. We are playing against a red-white. They'll start with a Mirror Shield Hoplite, which is tremendously spooky because if they get any backup abilities, they get to double up the backup abilities, which could be nightmarish for me. So I'm going to offer the trade into the Ichor Drinker here, and we are going to get it with Cryptomancer, so we don't have to worry about them doing some nasty backup shenanigans in the future. The Skittering Surveyor makes it so I really don't have to put Captive Weird on the board right now, because if I hit my third land now I can go Surveyor to hit the next land instead, and that also gets me close to Glissa, which is phenomenal. We did hit the third land now, so we grab that forest. We're one land draw away from playing a Glissa. They did have a removal spell for our Aetherblade Agent, but that's okay. They have a Beamtown Beatstick, but no creature to put it on right now. And there is the 5th land for Glissa. Could play Timuret, Captive Weird, and Incubate with the Ichor Drinker, so I think I will do that. Poke for 1. Here's Timuret. Here's Captive Weird. And here's my Incubate token. And then I still can just go Forest Glissa next turn. And just start producing a bunch of extra Incubate tokens to be resilient against the board wipe. Should kind of lock us in unless they have a very explosive rare or mythic of some kind. So here's Realm Breaker's Grasp to shut off Timuret for now. And we have to play Glissa pre-combat to get the value. Incubate 2 twice, attack for 1, pass the turn. Placid Rottentail, just a 1/1, but they can put the Beatstick on it to make it a 2/1 Vigilant Menace. That's fine. Don't really want to cast Unseal the Necropolis. I'd rather just attack with a bunch of 2/2 Incubators. And make more of them again. They could have a white and 1. They could have the Convoke 2-mana spell that gives +2/+2. That's still not enough to kill Glissa. But I could decide not to attack in case they have Cut Short to destroy a tapped creature. I think the game's locked in enough that I can play around Cut Short and just not attack with Glissa. Army of Whispered Hopes. There's an Aetherblade Agent, that's cool, but I can just flip all these for 6 and get 2 more with Glissa. I could flip them all with Glissa's ability, but again, I'd rather just have backups in case of a board wipe. Yeah, they're just going to scoop them up. Glissa is just an unreasonable Magic card, and we are going to be 2-0 as we move into game number 3. Alright, here we are for game 3 on the play. This doesn't look super keepable. If I hit my blue source, I get to start just drawing a bunch of cards and hoping to hit some playable stuff, but starting with a 1/1 and then just doing nothing for a while is pretty bad. Especially without the blue source. I'm going to take the mulligan here. Okay, this is definitely... well, I was going to say it's definitely better, but not really. It's kind of the exact same hand, but without the 1/1, instead of the 1/1, we have a removal spell. I guess we got to just play the defensive here, because I do not think this hand is worth mulliganing down to 5. I think we dropped the Unseal. Hope to draw any creature. We've got like probably 10 or 12 that cost 2 or less in this deck. If we get any of those, we can Meeting of Minds on turn 3 instead of Unseal, and try to draw into those lands for Glissa. Final Flourish, our opponent's first aggressive threat. Go from there. Draw into a Timuret. Well, that is one of our 1 or 2 mana creatures, but it is not castable with the lands in our hand currently. There's an Invasion of Ixalan from our opponent. Look at the top 5, reveal any permanent from among them, put it into their hand. A very nice draw spell that will flip into a scary creature. We do hit the second black for Timuret, so we'll cast it. Unfortunately, our opponent did find a bomb rare with Invasion of Ixalan. Progenitor Exarch. For 3 mana, they get a 1/2 and 3 1/1 incubators. For 5 mana, they get a 1/2 and a bunch of stuff there too. It just keeps getting better and better the later in the game they play it. Well, now I kind of have to Final Flourish this Kami of Whispered Hopes. I can't flourish it and Meeting of Minds. I want to flourish the Kami because if the Kami's still on board when they Exarch, then the Exarch incubate tokens are going to be bigger. They're going to get extra +1/+1 counters. Oh, I thought of this the opposite way. So they're always incubating as 3/3s. It's just they get 1 3/3 incubator for 3 mana, they get 2 for 5 mana, and so on. Okay, they still get bigger with Kami. They're going to be incubating for 4/4s instead. So I think we still kill the Kami. It keeps them off their mana and weakens the Progenitor Exarch. I guess I attack with Timuret first. If they want to chump block, then that is super cool with me. Alright, they don't want to chump block, so let's Final Flourish the Kami of Whispered Hopes. And drop Nezumi Informant. Make the most of our mana since I can't cast Meeting of Minds here anyway. They discard a Seal from Existence. They must have some more removal if they're discarding that. Skittering Surveyor is the play. Get more lands towards the Progenitor Exarch. Could be a lot of Incubator tokens, but so can Glissa if they don't have more removal, but they probably do, seeing as they discarded Seal. Okay, can't afford Glissa this turn anyway, so I guess I might as well tap the Informant for the Meeting of Minds. I'm not going to spend removal on the Surveyor, and Informant's not going to get in. So we might as well tap Informant, but I think I'll be attacking with Timuret, so let's go like this. Island, Swamp, Skyclave, Aerialist. So we'll play the Aerialist this turn, post-combat. If they don't kill that, we can flip it to draw another card. Digging through our deck. I guess the one problem is we're letting them do 1 damage to Invasion of Ixalan. Or potentially kill it with a combat trick. I think that was still the right way to play out the turn though. To let us play Aerialist as well this turn. If they've got the way to flip the invasion, they've got the way to flip it. Alright, show me the trick. No trick, invasion is still around. It's the Doombringer to finish it off. Alright, well. Oh, that's not the right ability. They could have removed 3 defense counters from the invasion and just flipped it? I'm very confused. Well, let's flip our Aerialist and see what we draw. I should not have let Auto Tapper do that. But it's okay, we still got the Black Source, because I would have liked to have the 2 up to gain a life here if I wanted. Cool. Now we have a Captive Weird to flip as well later. And it's better to have a 2/4 to block the 3/5, or is it better to just hit them for 2? Probably better to have the 2/4 to block that thing so it doesn't just flip Ixalan or make me sack an Informant. Although I guess I can just trump with Informant for a turn. You know what, sure, let's get 2 damage in and just trump with Informant. I think Informant's really doing anything else. Because it's not even going to attack through the Surveyor like Timuret can. Maybe they have a second Doombringer or something. Or they might just not want the Regisar. Regisar is a 4/3 trample, gets indestructible every turn that they cast a spell. So that's what they'll get from killing the Invasion of Ixalan. if they do succeed at that. Alright, here's Progenitor Exarch for 2 3/3s. Means they're probably flipping the invasion next turn, which I'm not a big fan of. I'll just gain 1 life here. Hello, green source. How do you do? Well, now they might not be flipping. Three, 5, 1, 3, 2, 3, and a 2/2. Just gonna hold on blocks for a turn. We'll see if they have removal for Glissa. I would assume so, discarding their other removal spell. Yep. Don't have any way to bait it out. I could have tried to wait till I drew my Cryptomancer, but I have 1 out of these 25 cards, so I don't think that's the line. We just run out the Glissa for sure. They sacked the Skittering Surveyor to kill Glissa. Fair enough. Okay, flip a 3/3. And flip another 3/3. They have 1 black mana up. Scornblade Berserker will be the play. Make one of them a 4/4 or make the Doombringer a 4/6. Both of those are really bad. Really, really bad for me. Just gonna attack Invasion of Ixalan with everybody. Attack Invasion of New Capenna with everybody. This will flip into an equipment that puts a +1/+1 counter on their entire board every time they attack, pretty much. All creatures that share a type, which is Phyrexian, 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 Phyrexian. Pretty much everything. Okay, well, we flip a token. Trade a 2/2 up into a 3/3, but Invasion of Ixalan is going to flip here. They're going to have a 4/3 trample that will often be indestructible. I believe this is how we block. If I put 3 things on the Doombringer, they can kill Timuret in a 2/2, and that's worse, I think, than trading 1 2/2 into a 3/3. Could block like this too. Hope they kill Timuret over the Captive Weird. Still flips, but we kill another 3/3. 1 for 1. I don't love this position here, but I think killing another 3/3 seems good. We'll still have 2 creatures on board after this, even if we don't have a card draw creature out. Got 2 more Meeting of Minds and an Atris in our deck to try to come back card advantage wise. All of those are 2 for 1s at minimum. Skittering Surveyor. Well, that is a 2 for 1. Not a super good one right now, though. Now all they have to do is cast any spell to make Registrar indestructible. Just get a free attack into Invasion of New Capenna with that. Yep. Now they get a counter on the whole board whenever they attack. I don't know if we have any outs here. This board state's getting pretty insurmountable. Once your opponent starts flipping battles, it's just this snowballing effect of value, and the board states get super lopsided. This game is no exception. I think I'll just chill on Timuret. I think the extra life gain's doing too much for me right now. Our opponent has found land number 7. Invasion of Zendikar finds them land 8 and 9, and they still don't have as much lands as we do. They get to flip this invasion immediately, keep the steamroll coming. The snowball gets larger and larger and larger as it rolls down this hill. Yeah, you have certainly annihilated that battle. So we found a chump block. And they milled 3 non-lands with that. That's pretty bad. They get to return any permanent with mana value 2 or less from a graveyard onto the battlefield under their control. We don't have any board wipes or anything in this deck, so we don't have anything that is going to really change the board position from here unless our opponent plays tremendously badly from this point on. Trade a Timuret into Skyclave. Trade a Surveyor into Exarch. If I sack Drinker, they could kill both Timuret and the 2/2. Because Timuret goes down to 2 toughness. So they could order it so the 2/2's in front and Timuret's in the back. Which is kind of awkward for wanting to block like this. I guess they can only kill 1 if I block over there. It's 14 damage. Yeah, but then I only kill 1 thing on these double blocks instead of 2. Alright, maybe they won't see the line and they'll order the 2/2 in front. I don't think we have much of a hope regardless. They saw the line. They are... I guess they'd have 8 cards in grave if I didn't exile anything here, but if I draw C double, I have to just clone the best creature on board immediately. I can't really rely on copying one of their spells. C double is certainly not an out. Could have waited to do that till they declared an attack, just to play around sorcery speed removal. Would have been for the best. I'm just trying to get the arena auto pass value to speed things up. Alright, we are dead. Alright, here we are now for game 4. Seems solid enough. Probably play Jungle Hollow turn 3. Until then we curve out. Play not a mulligan this time. Ooh. Gonna be a sweet meeting of minds. Should be tremendously castable. Next turn, we can play our Jungle Hollow and cast Meeting of Minds. Still hold up a blocker just in case of weirdness. Now I could Berserker. Still hold up Meeting of Minds and attack with Ichor Drinker for the turn. Play Jungle Hollow turn 4 tapped. Maybe a little greedy. I guess, you know what, is it better to drain them for 2 life with Ichor Drinker? Or just draw another card with it with Berserker, since we will get the Incubate token regardless. Sack it now. I have to go 4 mana, Meeting of Minds, 1 mana, sack, draw. I don't get to attack and sack it. Let's go full value here, full card draw, I think. Which means I have to Meeting of Minds right now and then sack Drinker while it still has the ability to sack to draw a card. Start this game with all the value. Looks like it's a good thing we did that, because if we didn't draw a bunch of cards here, we'd be pretty far from a land. From land number 5. At this rate, and there it is. Right on time. I think I want to trade an agent off here, so we go Aetherblade Agent Captive Weird Pass. Streetwise Negotiator is the play. Let's go down to 19 for now. 2 mana up. That's enough for the counter spell. Counter a creature battle unless they pay 4. I don't know if I really want to play around that out of a blue-green deck, though. I guess I still have pretty good lines, even if I do play around it. I can just flip an Aetherblade Agent and send that in. Feels more likely that they're holding up the bounce spell or something to bounce an attacking creature. Let's see. I've got one way to occur this if they do have the counter spell. Feels like a bounce spell, though, for a blue-green deck. Looks to be the case. Bounce spell or a Cosmic Hunger or something. Deal damage to a creature equal to the power of one of their creatures on board. Vorinclex is the play. That's some big beef. Happy to have some Death Touchers. But that can flip some battles real easily if they cast any of them, which could be bad for us again. Also draws them 2 lands to discard to the Nezumi Informant we top decked. Does weaken the Nezumi Informant. Gonna flip a bunch of Incubators for a while right now. I think I'm just gonna flip a bunch of Incubators for now. Chomping Kavu. That'd be a big Vorinclex swing. Go for it. Down to 12. I could block with Glissa, but something tells me that's not a good play. Draw another Ichor Drinker. Unless I flip an Aetherblade Agent, I'm not going to have any creatures that can block the Chomping Kavu outside of Glissa. But if I flip an Aetherblade Agent, I don't really have the mana to do much else. We are down to 12. Could also play a Timuret. Let's play a Timuret. Should be pretty high toughness. Not enough to block Vorinclex. But it can give us some life gain, and we have the options for flipping incubators. Down to 12, facing some really beefy creatures. We need to do everything we can to survive a little while, to potentially get to a point where we have a wide enough board state to overwhelm our opponent. Send in the Chomping Kavu, we take the 3. Play around a combat trick here. And they're just going to pass. And let's flip some incubators. If they want to kill my Glissa right now, I do not have a Cyber Cryptomancer. Alright. They're just thinking. Seven mana, now I can play Ichor Drinker and still have the mana to flip all the incubators. Could give them all first strike Death Touch for the turn and just attack for 10. 2 turns in a row, try to get there that way. Probably at that kind of turning point now, aren't we? Where we need to pressure them. And I spend 1 mana for this Drinker, 4 mana to flip 2 incubators. 2 mana for something else. I could play Informant. I think I'd rather play another Ichor Drinker. So we can play an Ichor Drinker, we can exile this one, we can flip 2 incubators. Could attack with Glissa. But I think I want to keep her around for that Death Touch stuff next turn. First strike Death Touch. Not that she's at much risk of dying on the attack. So I go Ichor Drinker flip or I go Informant. Informant makes Timuret a 2/8 to maybe block Vorinclex. I think I'm already at the point where I just chump Vorinclex though, regardless. Yeah, let's just get the incubator. Alright, they basically have a turn to kill me or I will probably kill them. See if they can find the way. Send in Vorinclex Kavu. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I would like to block with that. If they have instant speed removal to kill Timuret, I would just die here. If they have a Cosmic Hunger, shoot Timuret for 7 and then I just die. I take 10. Let's put a Captive Weird there. Put an Aetherblade Agent there, honestly. We also kill Vorinclex. And let's put a Berserker there and draw a card off of it. Disturbing Conversion on the Aetherblade Agent, fair. So now Vorinclex won't die. I will draw 1 card. I will gain a couple life, be safe, and still just flip this next turn and attack with it. Blighted Burgeoning, that's another 2/2, that's 3 blockers total. Anything I can Halo Forager? Vanquish the Weak. Could Halo Forge or Vanquish the Weak still have the mana to flip an incubator here? Sure, I'll do that post-combat if they survive to kill the Chomping Kavu, I think. Trying to kill them on the spot, ideally. Still think I keep a couple back in case of something disastrous. Because, like, right now they block 3 of these 8 creatures and take 10 damage. Now they block 4 of these 8 creatures and take 8 damage. Alright. We are 3-1 now, heading into game number 5. Here we are now for game 5. Our opponent's going first. I'll keep this hand. We can play everything but Timuret right now. We can play it all pretty quickly too, which is very nice. Okay, they're starting off with double green. Now I could Timuret turn 2. I think I'd rather play the Aerialist though. Get a flyer on the board as well as a blue creature. Invoke for blue with Meeting of Minds, so we could potentially tap out and Meeting of Minds in the same turn later. Are they on triple forest right now? Yes, they are. I'm gonna stay aggro. I'm just gonna keep playing the highest power creatures I can rather than dropping out Meeting of Minds this early. We'll play Timuret. Next turn we'll go Agent, Informant, and maybe Meeting of Minds there. Renata, they have a 2/3 on the board. Not a massive deal. Let's go Agent. Agent. I guess it does make all their next creatures bigger. Hit them for 2 or draw 2 cards. I guess when it's 2 damage or draw 2, I'll draw 2 at this point. They do hit the red source and play a Kenra's Spell Spear as a 3/3 thanks to Renata. Last turn, let's Meeting of Minds. Vanquish the Weak and Captive Weird. So I can Vanquish the Weak and play the Weird, or I can Vanquish the Weak and play an Informant. I think I want to Vanquish Renata. Stop anything else from getting bigger. I can attack in with pretty much everybody freely. And the Ichor Drinker just dies. But even if they double block Timuret, I can just go for a Vanquish here. Guess this doesn't play well if they have Combat Trick. But I was planning on trying to Vanquish Renata anyway, so if they had a Combat Trick, they could save Renata either way. Suppose this way they would save Renata and kill Timuret. Yeah, I should have just killed her pre-combat. Not a massive deal to lose Timuret, though. That's like the perfect card there. I guess we still killed Renata, but now we lose Timuret and an agent. Okay. I thought we weren't even going to kill Renata there. That would have been really bad. But that is instead just kind of bad. Informant is more mana efficient, but Captive Weird can attack as a 3/3 next turn, which would be big, but this is a 4/4 now. No, it's a 3/3 at base stats. If they flip it, it'll be a 4/4. Because of that +1/+1 counter. Yeah, I think I'm cool to Informant then. Not super confident Captive Weird's gonna get in super well. Naki Javelineer, well, it certainly won't. Ooh, Atris? Well, Aetherblade Agent trades with either card. And either of those is a good trade for the Aetherblade Agent. Or I just poke them for 1. Poke them for 1 it is. Now we drop Atris. Final Flourish are 2 cards. Clearing out the flyer blocker is pretty valuable here. Well, this is like Glissa in a forest. Unless it's literally Glissa Forest, I'm pretty cool with pile 2. C-Double Island. I think Final Flourish is stronger than C-Double here. They don't have anywhere near 8 cards in grave. Yeah, I would rather have Final Flourish off the top than C-Double, so I'm pretty cool with that. Another Javelineer. Well, it makes it less cool. Unless that happens. Then I'm just living in Magical Christmas Land, where dreams come true. I don't know if I clicked the right one there. Yeah, cast with kicker. Yeah, they're just gonna scoop it up. We are now 4-1, heading into game number 5. Here we are on the play for game 5. Berserker into Timuret, vanquish the weak for one of their cards. Maybe Cryptomancer wins a combat. This seems fine. Start with an Ichor Drinker. Sure. Now an Azumi Informant. That is really annoying. Aetherblade Agent isn't super great for the blue-black match. Not that Cryptomancer is incredible, but I feel like we should get some good value off it, saving Timuret from removal or having Berserker trade into both their 1/1s or something like that. If I knew the top card of my deck was an island, I would have just discarded the island. But we couldn't take that risk of not having a blue source in the future. Send in the squad. Alright, we get our Cryptomancer value. Not that either of these creatures are super valuable to take down, but whittling our opponent's board down makes their convoke cards worse, gives us better attacks in the future. Well, yeah, I'm pretty happy to have killed a couple of those. Keep them from immediately attacking this invasion. And this will give every non-creature card in their deck convoke. This is a super strong battle. So, not a fan of seeing that here. That is going to change the course of this game pretty dramatically, because now I have to protect this thing, because if it flips, then nightmarish things will happen. Everything they have has convoke, and they untap 4 creatures a turn. Just a whole shebang we do not want to have to deal with. So, am I even still attacking? Looks like I could still send Timuret in. Just 1 creature a turn now on attacks. So if they want to attack Invasion of Segovia, we get to kill one of the 1/1s for free. Omen Hawker, that is good at flipping their incubates. They're just going to pass turn. There's a Collective Nightmare now. I can cast Vanquish the Weak and Collective Nightmare at the same time. Because I can convoke tap my Cryptomancer or my Berserker here, so we can keep getting our Timuret attacks in. Well, unless they have like a Saiba Cryptomancer, this should be pretty bad for them. And even if they have that, we can just cast Collective Nightmare as well. Dispersal, just bounce the Timuret. Fair enough. We still kill the Omen Hawker and have fine blocks for their invasion to not get flipped. Corruption of Tawashi. Now they're going to draw a card every time they flip an incubator, so this is where they start taking over the game. Just having a battle this strong to force us to stop attacking and get 2 blockers is definitely enough to give them the time to get to cards like Corruption of Tawashi. Go for the card advantage win. Take over the game from here. I'm not loving it. This is not a McDonald's right now. Flip their 4/4, draw a card. Play land number 6 and a Captive Weird. We'll probably also immediately flip to draw a card. Although I guess they can theoretically get an egregious amount of value off of that, because they can flip it, draw the card off the exile, and draw a card off of its ability. I think I still need to just stop the invasion from flipping here by killing this 4/4. Let them get their huge Captive Weird card draw next turn. Wow. Alright, well, if they have it all, there's not a lot I can do. Unseal is a start. Getting back in here. Grab a Halo Forager. Aetherblade Agent. We can Halo Forager the Unseal now. But our opponent's still going to be drawing 1 card per turn minimum. Well, 1 extra card per turn. They still have their draw step. I have yet to find a way to negate my opponent's draw step. They have a Sheoldred in their deck, by the way. Jesus. Jesus H. Sure. Cleansing the Berserker. Yeah, this is still horrific if it flips, because they draw a card off of Corruption Tawashi, get a 3/3, give basically their whole board vigilance. So we'll stop it from flipping as long as we can. Might be better to just kill Captive Weird than draw 2 creatures here. Won't be able to immediately recast the creatures anyway. Can't stop this invasion from flipping. Oh, good God. So, even if I kill Weird, they attack invasion with everybody. I've got no good blocks for Forager. They draw a card off invasion, flipping, have a 3/3, untap the whole board. Flip this next turn, draw another card. I guess I need to like mill into my Glissa. I gotta hit some kind of Mega Bomb or it's just over. Because again, even if I kill Captive Weird, they're flipping that thing and going to town. There's Atris. Choose Atris here. Got a lot of creatures in grave. We can choose Timuret as well. Exile Sheoldred for sure. Got a Bloated Processor as well. Got some strong stuff. Invasion of Segovia, Sheoldred, and Bloated Processor. We've got an Atris and a Glissa, which is also quite strong, but I haven't drawn my Glissa. We gotta dig. This trade into the Conjurer at least. At least they don't draw 2 cards this turn, right? Because they just flipped that other thing, so that already triggered Corruption of Tawashi. Yeah, they missed out on 1 Corruption of Tawashi draw here, that's nice. Do they have a second? Artistic Refusal. There is no way to bait a counterspell here. They know what our hand is outside of our weakest card that they will definitely not counter. Okay, they're going to flip the Incubator to draw a card. And they're going to Artistic Refusal tapping it. And that's a lot of board highlighting if they're not convoking. Okay, they're convoking Meeting of Minds. So Atris does resolve. Final Flourish Swamper. Random card. Final Flourish doesn't even really save me here, so on the off chance that this card is Glissa, I think I take that chance. Or do I Flourish Cadus and they still have 5 extra cards? 2/2s to beat me down with. Alright, C-Double's a good one. C-Double is a good one. Don't have the mana up for it right now, though. Just drop the Timuret. Timuret can block 2/2s at least. If Atris is still on board. They definitely have 8 or more cards in their graveyard. They're gonna Eyes of Gataxias. Do I have any more mill in this deck? I think I only had the 1 mill card and I exiled it from grave. Dang. So if I could C-double and unseal the Necropolis, each player mills 6. They're down to 7 cards now. I guess if they cast their own copy, we could try to mill them out. If they cast any creature that like mills on ETB. Or any spell that mills and then picks stuff up from grave. So hold the 4 mana up for Aerialist, or for C-double now, so we just play Aerialist and pass the turn. We're on the mill game plan. We're just trying to survive until they're out of cards. I guess I have the 4 mana for C-double even if I play Ichor Drinker, but then I can only Timuret 1 time. Still probably worth it. I don't need to Timuret unless they cast something that can return Shieldred from grave to hand. I don't think they can deal 20 damage to us this turn. If they're going to choose to kill Timuret, then maybe. Although that could also mean that they're just planning on reanimating Shieldred. I mean, if they reanimate Shieldred and don't have a counterspell up, then I will cast my own Shieldred with C-double. Send in the dorks. Trade there, I guess. Atris isn't doing much on board. Trade it off. It's the enter the battlefield effect that mattered there. Maybe they want to counter Timuret. Or they're just really trying to get me to tap out of C-double. Well, Timuret's back. I don't know how this game's gonna end. I don't feel like it's looking in our favor, but we have an out to victory. We have a route to try to take here. Deadly Derision good enough to C-double? The problem with C-doubling Deadly Derision is that the spell's gonna resolve before the creature. So like I'd try to get a Cadus, but then I'd blow up the Cadus with Deadly Derision before I actually get a copy of it. Let's exile their Shieldred. Their Processor. I'm actually not sure how that works. I'm going to hold on to C-double. Although then they definitely kill me in 6 turns. I mean, they just 100... Yeah, they 100% kill me in 6 turns if I'm sitting here with a 2-1 and a 1-1 against a 3-3 multiple 2-2s. I guess we go for it. I think this is going to work how I thought it would. Oh, they just have the counter anyway. Well, I was never going to resolve. That's cool. They do have a second artistic refusal. This is a May ability, they don't have to draw the card. They are not going to draw the card, down to 5 cards in their library, but we're definitely dying too quickly at this point. I should probably draw the Aerialist card before I trade that off. Now that I don't have to hold up 4 mana for C double. So I'll draw the Captive Weird card first. Block, takes 6. We're down to 4 cards. Is there any way to survive here? I have an incubator, I get a 2/4 block here, 2/2 block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Final Flourish. If I go block, Final Flourish, I take 1, 2. I do survive 1 more turn if they have absolutely nothing. So we take that shot. I'm going to go down to 1 here no matter what, so I think I need to not kill the Thallid, not give them another 1/1. Although I could sack my 2 to kill the Thallid instead. That's not enough blockers. That's 2 blockers total. No, Glissa, I do have the mana for the Incubator. It's exactly 3 blockers if they have nothing. Okay, 3 blockers for 3 attackers. Do they have a thing? Did they draw all their gas early? They did have a lot of gas early, to be fair. So maybe. It's 14 lands on board. 2 engraved. There's probably 1 more in their hand or in their deck. I don't know what they have here. Apparently not removal. I'm down to 5 cards. They are down to 2. Just get more blockers. Destroy all legendaries or non-legendaries. I think neither of those kills me on the spot. They could kill all creatures on board if they want. But then I still have 3 incubators. Destroy all legendaries, just kill Glissa, okay. Well, I've still got 5 blockers against 3 attackers. Yeah, their deck is loaded. Invasion of Fiora, Invasion of Segovia, Sheoldred, and more. Send in the squad. One card left in their deck. They have to kill us in 1 more attack after this. Play around them killing this at instant speed and killing me with trample. If I blocked like just that and they had 1 removal spell, they kill this 2/2 and I die to 1 trample damage. So I do this, I believe. Cryptomancer. Buff the 1/1 into being a 2/2. Buff the 3/3 into being a 4/4. Sure, I'll still have chumps. I just need to survive one more attack. I'm not going to use this just in case they have a mill 3 card at instant speed. I will play a Surveyor, and I will choose to fail to find. Okay, final turn to kill me. Eyes of Gataxias draw a card, go out on their own terms, and our opponent has officially milled out. Lissa was huge there. Everything else we did, we were behind the entire rest of the game because they just got that early invasion of Segovia for good value, resolved multiple artistic refusals for the big 2/3 for 1 counter spells. Opponent had a very, very good deck and got a lot of cards off Corruption of Tawashi, but I guess it turns out in the end they got a little bit too many cards. And they will mill out in the end. We are going to be 5-1 now, heading into round number 7 with a very positive win rate, no matter how the draft finishes off. So 1 win away from being in the money out of this quick draft. Here we are now for game 7. Our opponent is on the play. We are on the draw. Pretty sweet hand though. Ooh, and we drew the Captive Weird, so we can roll out a 1-drop into a 2-drop. Go from there. Just play 2 different flipper cards and choose what we want to transform on turn 3. Could Final Flourish the Sanctifier, but not that worrisome. Scornblade Berserker, that does make it better for sure. Now we might Vanquish the Weak or Final Flourish it. Jungle Hollow's the draw. I guess I can't Final Flourish it without sacrificing something, so we'd much rather Vanquish the Weak it. Could just flip my Blight Reaper Thallid right now though. 3/3 block on the Sanctifier is a fine block. Yeah, I'm just going to flip a Thallid here, I think. I guess it plays bad against their open mana. Plays poorly if they have Final Flourish of their own. Yeah, I suppose we'll just hold up our instance then. Probably Vanquish the Weak, the Alabaster Host. Sack that, draw a card. Do I want to do this while they're tapped out so they can't combat trick the host? Yeah. I'll Vanquish now that they're mostly tapped out, so they can't have the like +2/+2 flying combat trick to make it too high power to die to a Vanquish the Weak. Phyrexian Censor, one of the most annoying cards in the format. Non-Phyrexians hit the board tapped. We can only play 1 non-Phyrexian spell. Luckily, I don't have any battles in this deck, because that's what it really hoses. If you try to play a battle and then flip it the turn you play it, it's just going to counter that battle. And if you try to flip a battle and cast a spell in the same turn, can't do that either, because flipping a battle counts as casting a spell. So I don't love to see that. I want to make the most of my mana, do something for 3 mana this turn. There's nothing to unseal, so let's flip Thallid. Poke them with that. Get in there, Blight Sower. Okay. Looks like our opponent is also annoyed by Phyrexian Censor, and they're just going to let it trade off immediately. I'm happy with that. I'm cool with that. Attentive Skywarden is the play. Nice little 2/2 flyer that can flip some incubators. Land number 5 now. Now I could unseal perfectly fine, but I think I'm going to flip the weird and play a 2-drop. We do hit a land off that, so we'll play that immediately. Want to flourish the flyer? Lets me attack with everybody. Out of removal if I do that. I can already just attack with a 3/3. I think flourishing the flyer's fine. But I'm going to play around potentially larger threat coming down next turn and just play the Aetherblade Agent for now, which I can flip and attack into the Sky Warden with as well. Phyrexian Awakening, that is a larger threat, but it's on the ground. Also gives the flyer vigilance, so now that it's a flyer with a vigilance, it's even more annoying. Oh, it does flip immediately because the Sky Warden. Oop. Well, that didn't play very well. Not flourishing the Sky Warden. Let's Atris. See what's up, and then probably flourish one of these two cards. Scornblade and land, or question mark? Scornblade's okay here, but the land doesn't matter at all, so if I choose this pile, I'm just down one Berserker, which is okay. Meeting of Minds, alright, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, taking this pile, if it's just another land there, then worst case scenario. I just don't have a Scornblade. Still probably wasn't casting it this turn, I'm probably on Flourish. I think we have to Flourish the 4/4 so I can actually get in with stuff. That does make the Sky Warden straight up just gas. Anytime they play more Phyrexian Awakening style cards. Now that I have a Meeting of Minds to hold up, if I Final Flourish sacking a Sapling to kill the 4/4, I can't cast Meeting of Minds as well this turn. They're at 20, I don't need to hit them that hard. Let's actually... You know what, let's Flourish the Flyer. We've got the Death Toucher against the 4/4, and this will stop them from insta-flipping any future Incubators. And we can Meeting of Minds here. Wow. Well. Good old Convoke combat tricks. They're pretty exceptional at ruining my day. Convoke instants in general are just way too good. I think I would prefer the format without them. I say with a Convoke instant in my hand. But hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Got some okay targets for Unseal the Necropolis, and I'm not really doing much with these Ichor Drinkers. Now I have an incredible target for Unseal. Don't have the mana to play it yet. We gotta draw into some removal for this Tiller. They're gonna incubate a boatload. Maybe I should grab the Scornblade Berserker to draw cards here. I think I will. I guess I could have played an Ichor Drinker here, sacked that. I kind of want to hold the mana up for a 2-drop like Informant or something I might draw into. They need one more card engrave for C-double to be nasty. Yeah, let's Informant here. Get rid of a completed Huntmaster. We are down to 8 from the Vigilant Flyer. They probably have targeted removal left to cast on Glissa. We have 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be our 8th mana. I'm 1 mana away from playing Glissa and holding up C-double, which would give me a Glissa even if they removal spell Glissa. Then I could C-double, cast their removal spell on one of their creatures, and copy Glissa. and then just sacrifice whatever Glissa they were targeting with removal to the legend rule. I already have the board, I already have the ground all blocked. So I kind of like that. Means I just use Berserker to try to draw land and play 2 drinkers and hold up C double. Aetherblade Agent is the draw. Cool, I'll play one of those then and still hold up C double. Alright, come on, land number 9. Double Tiller Flesh? I guess I could make my own, but... At least now I know they don't have instant removal for Glissa, and I've got the C double up, okay. Double Tiller Flesh could be an issue, but Glissa's pretty much just as big of an issue. Both players are just gonna have 5,000 incubate tokens. I really need my opponent to try to cast a removal spell so I can C double it. I guess I can get one more turn by sending an Ichor Drinker in. Go up to 5 instead of 4. There's their own Ichor Drinker, fine. I'm gonna end up C doubling, copying an Ichor Drinker on the stack and an Ichor on board. Four, 5, 6 mana after this. 7 mana after play a Skittering Surveyor land. Sure. I just need either player to draw a removal spell. If they draw it, I need them to cast it, but they probably would if they draw it. I think I'm at first strike Death Touch yet. Let's go to 5. These 2/4s are all an issue. Trade some Ichor Drinkers. Sack it, draw 2. Oh. Me draw 2 cards looking for removal. Got 11 cards left. How much removal's in there left? I still have Collective Nightmare and Final Flourish in there. 2 out of these 11. Under a 1 in 5 chance. Probably not worth it. Almost feels more likely they draw into removal still. Alright, if they have a combat trick, they did sack their creature in response to the block, so... They kill us with a combat trick, unless I duplicate the Sky Warden and go for a block here. I'll just be dead to combat trick. Alright, go down to 2. Our worst case scenario is we will just have to copy the Sky Warden. Okay, that is fine. That'll do it for us, right? We'll go up to 5. And then we'll have our own Sky Warden on blocks. Oh wait, I'm so stupid. I just killed my clone target. Obviously I don't get to copy it if I'm killing it with the spell. Well, we're not dead in the sky anymore, which means we probably kill our opponent. They only have 3 attackers. I could also flip this invasion to just make sure I have a flying blocker. Hold a Cyber Cryptomancer up. Send in the whole party there. Oh wait, no, I was wrong. I did get a Sky Warden. Okay. Alright, cool. Good to know that's how it works. I'm going to leave that untapped. Although, no, I'm flipping this invasion. I probably shouldn't. 3 blockers. 1, 2, 3. Take 1, 2, 3, 4 if they block with everybody, but then they lose all their creatures. Let's send in these to the face. I've got enough blockers, I just send everything else to the face. That isn't First Strike Death Touch. Oh, it was a token copy of a battle, so I don't get a creature off of it? Okay, we're learning all kinds of little interactions here. So tokens do have backsides now. They do copy the backside of a card now that they've made Incubator and Phyrexian tokens. You can 100% clone a creature that flips and then flip your clone and get the backside. But the way that battles work, this has gotten me so much. They exile themselves and then cast themselves on the stack, so you would never get the token back. Most of how I've been ruined by the way that battles works is that they're technically cast, so I've been ruined by Phyrexian sensors and counterspells and stuff. But now I've also gotten got by the fact that they exile then come back, so I don't. Obviously, a token can't cease to exist and then return to the board, so that's not great. Probably crack back for lethal, right? They have 1 blocker. What's my biggest creature? My 3/5. 1, 2, 3, plus 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. That's lethal. Ooh. Just in case we'll get some extra incubators. They are going to scoop it up, though. Alright, played that one pretty sloppy. There were a lot of little intricacies and stuff that I had no idea how it was going to work out. The C double worked fine. At least. I thought I blew that one. But it was just trying to flip the old growth that was bad. I should have just sent all the damage at them. But yeah, I could have C doubled a lot earlier. Copying the 2/2, trying to trade off there. Probably some other stuff I could have done to be a little safer. Like I could have sacked Saproling to play around the combat trick to save their flyer. Because if I'd gotten that flyer out of the way a lot earlier, we would have been so much safer that game. But it all panned out well for us in the end. But probably a lot closer than it needed to be. Don't think I played it out perfectly. Either way, the deck is going to carry us. Excellent, excellent deck today. We are at 6-1 now. 850 gems and 1 pack no matter what. We're in the money, but let's see if we can't get a 7-win run as we head into the final boss. Alright, here we are on the play for round number 8. Doesn't feel super keepable because it does very much, or very little without the swamp. If I hit the swamp, it's great, but I think I'm gambling on that. Let's get a mulligan here, and this has better mana, but Glissa still makes it awkward. C double needs double blue also. Sea Double's significantly stronger later in the game because it has the clause where we want 8 cards in their graveyard, so I'm just going to keep the 3 lands and the Captive Weird so I know I can play Weird on turn 1, flip it on 3 to draw a card. It was definitely ditch the Glissa or ditch the Double Vision. Those were the only reasonable mulligans to the bottom there, I think. We had to keep our 3 lands for our 3 mana stuff. Okay, Tarkir Dune Shaper, we draw into a Meeting of Minds for more card draw. And I am holding up Collective Nightmare thanks to its Convoke cost. Is it cool to just slow them down here? I think I am. Let's be mana efficient and slow them down. Get rid of this thing that flips into kind of a beefy beat stick. Now we'll flip this, see if we can hit a land, ideally. Uh-oh, I better hit a land next turn, because if I can't cast this Atris next turn, that's a very sad exile. Everyone cross your fingers. Untapped land next turn. I need your blessings. We did start this game with 3 lands in hand, so we just realistically needed to draw 1 land in our 4 draw steps here. Well, 3 draw steps and 1 Conjurer flip. Come on, land. Let's go. Our opponent's leaving us in suspense. Gotta play out the turn. Drop some creatures. Cut short the Conjurer. Alright. Oh, that hurts so bad. 0 land draws out of our 4 draw steps there. Well, we're still in the game. The game does not just immediately end, and they're only hitting us for 2 a turn unless they flip the Dune Shaper. They flip the Dune Shaper, I take 5 this turn, go to 12, but then I can trade an Aetherblade Agent into it next turn. Alright. Glissa in hand, we might be defensive enough to trade off, make the Dune Stomper bigger, and then trade Agent into that. There's a land 4, literally 1 turn too late. I cry every time. Oh my god. That's a pretty good card to have there. First strike this turn to get around the Death Touch. I think we're dead. Yeah, we're just dead. If you would have ordered that land 1 card sooner, we would have won this game handedly with Atris on board. Because we hit the land for Glissa too. Alright, bad beats. 6 and 2, heading into the actual final boss. Using our final round in the chamber. I could have blocked here and went to 1, but then I cast a Glissa without the ability to flip anything, so they just attack both and I die. Alright, here we are for the final boss. Our opponent is on the play here. We're on the draw with Berserker into Flourish, Meeting of Minds, Cryptomancer. Not really doing much aggressively here, but we've got solid setup and solid interaction. Norn's Inquisitor is going to start things off for our opponent. This card is so nasty. Because it's the kind of card that you have to kill the Inquisitor itself, but then the other part is going to stick around. Be good beef. I think we just kill that before they flip the token, so that it's only a 2-2 instead of a 3-3, and any other tokens they play are worse as well. Preening Champion. Talk about card quality. Norn's Inquisitor into Preening Champion is a hell of a way to start a game. Just stare at them now. Yes, we do. Probably Meaning of Minds in their end step. Play Timuret, I can block the 2/2 if they flip it, but they're probably just going to cast a 4-mana spell. I think we're on Meeting of Minds. We have Cryptomancer and Unseal as other options if something weird happens. Invasion of Belanon. It's pretty good with a super wide board state if they can flip that, which they can definitely hit it with the flyer. So it's down to 3 now. Draw 2 off Meeting of Minds. For mana, could play a Halo Forager without copying anything just so I can trade it off into the Preening Champion. I don't think that's where it's at though. We probably play Timuret, hold up Cryptomancer. Or Ichor Drinker, Captive Weird, hold up Cryptomancer would be fine too. If I can hit one more land, I can Final Flourish the Preening Champion off of the Halo Forager. Might be wanting to sack the Berserker. Daxos now. I think I should sack the Berserker to try to get the mana for Halo Forager and kill Champion, but now even if I kill Champion, their board state is wide enough to just kill this invasion by attacking it with everybody. Still think it would be really important to hit land 5, so we'll dig. There it is. They have a Cryptomancer of their own here. Definitely possible. It would not be ideal. Okay, they don't have a Cryptomancer. But again, they can still attack Belanon with everybody to flip it, but I can get some decent kills off that attack. We can kill a 2/2 Vigilance with our 2/3. I guess I can't trade Halo Forager off if I want Timuret to stay at 2/3 status. Phyrexian Awakening. Ooh, yeah, give all their Phyrexians Vigilance now. And get a 4/4. Daxos is a 2/4 now. Yeah, I don't have a good block for Halo Forager because then Timuret would die on the block as well, and no matter how I block, they're flipping the invasion. So let's just go ahead and kill one of their 2/2 Vigilant creatures. I think I'd rather kill the blue-white one. But then they get to flip this, their whole board gets +1/+1, and it's going to be hard to compete with that amount of stats. Beatrice is certainly a start. Rather play Ichor Drinker than Captive Weird. Probably having a creature that adds another power to my block and can exile from grave does feel good. Whereas Captive Weird, it could block a 2/2 without dying, but they're not going to have a lot of 2/2s when they have a War Anthem on the board. Got an Unseal the Necropolis, so even if they get us to mill our Glissa here, we can just pick it up with Unseal, so I'm just going to take whatever pile has 2 cards. Scoop. The 1-card pile was just a basic land. They tried to get us with the trick there. It really didn't play out. Alright. This is a pretty reasonable board state. 20 life as well. We get to just keep chipping in for 3 a turn with the Halo Forager. Okay. I mean, their creatures are going to be outclassing us for the most part because that Anthem, but this looks like a very reasonable game here. Pretty even. They've got 3 cards, we've got 4. Board states are somewhat even. Knight Errant of Eos, that could draw them a lot of cards. Well, it could draw them 2 cards, I think. Yeah, if they're lucky. They are lucky. They get 2 cards, one of which is Norn's Inquisitor. Big yikes. That's really bad. Or if you're in our opponent's shoes, that's really good. Guess I get to Collective Nightmare the Inquisitor before they flip anything again. Seems fine. Could still stack up the Collective Nightmare during a block to kill a bigger creature. But this will turn into a 4/4 instead of a 3/3 if I let Inquisitor stay. Kind of just feels like we're killing a creature and a half, getting rid of that. Daxos has gained so much life. Oh, hey, Glissa. We're looking for a green source, that's for certain. Let's see what we get off of Captive Weird. Another land, that's fine. Unseal could hit a Skittering Surveyor, but it could also hit my forest and my other green land, which would be bad. I think I'm just chipping in with the flyer, holding up the Cryptomancer still. Maybe block. If they get aggressive here, we could try to trade off Atris and then pick up Atris with Unseal. If Atris ends up dying, then yeah, we'll Unseal, even though I could theoretically mill both my green sources if I'm super unlikely. Or super unlucky. They're both in the top 3. Well, never mind. I guess we're going to play Cryptomancer this turn. Stop that. Also make Timur at a 3/7. That's just an even better blocker now. Just a really good one. Alright, no attacks. Play a land. I think I'm still waiting on Unseal. I only have 1 Skittering Surveyor in the deck, but I have 2 green lands. Again, if Atris ends up in grave, absolutely will Unseal. Or if Halo Forager ends up in grave at this point. Which it might against the Preening Champion. Halo Forager is another good 2-for-1 play. Board state is getting out of our favor here. Preening Champion's pretty huge when the whole board gets +1/+1. 3 mana for a 3/3 flyer and a 2/2 on the ground. Pretty nasty. Yeah, and now they just get to send. This is not what I want to see. So, Timoret. If I lose Atris, still has 6 toughness. I can afford to lose Atris and 1 Ichor Drinker. So we do this, they kill Atris or the completed Conjurer here. I really want them to kill Atris though for Unseal. So there's block a 5/5 with these two. I don't want to lose 2 creatures out of the trade, but I want them to kill Atris. Oh, this is super awkward. Let's just hope they're really nice to me and they choose to kill Atris there. And then I can chump block with 1 Ichor Drinker. Alright, they're killing the Conjurer. Just pick up Captive Weird at this point. Pick up 2 card draw spells. I think I do. Don't mill any green sources, fingers crossed. Oh, we milled one of them, and now Skittering Surveyor is not a green source. Well, they'll pick up 2 card draw spells. They have exactly 8 cards in their grave. Don't really want to mill any of theirs in case we hit C double. Or exile any of theirs, but I will exile my Nezumi Informant for 1 point of life gain. Okay, now we'll draw our card. Meeting of Minds, that's a big one. So let's play Captive Weird. Get our exiled card draw. Just get an island. Scornblade, sack Cryptomancer. I think a lifelink block feels pretty good. Sack Cryptomancer. Keep the Ichor Drinker for 1 lifelink chump block later. Find an Aetherblade agent. Death Toucher does seem a little better than getting an Incubator down right now. Okay. Tiller of Flesh. Super nasty if they get some targeted removal or some combat tricks to target some permanents. No attacks. Let's draw 2. There's the Jungle Hollow for the Glissa. There's a Vanquish the Weak for their flyer as well. Chipping in immediately here. I still have a C double in this deck. To draw into. Okay. I don't think I want to sack Berserker, though. I don't really want to draw too many extra cards now. I mill out 9 turns faster than them if it comes to that, which it might. With Glissa, we can get to a board position where they have to have a board wipe in their deck, or we'll just win if I can wait it out like 8 turns of making incubators. Final Flourish is another really good draw. Don't really want to flip an Aetherblade agent because they will force me to draw a card if they connect in the future. We're down to 7 cards now. We killed 2 creatures. If they double block these, they have to triple block to kill one, and we'd kill 2 creatures for free. I think I might start doing the first strike death touch here. Close out the game quicker. I'm gonna wait one more turn and then I'm gonna start doing it. And get to where it's 14 damage if they don't block. Elspeth Smite the Halo Forager. That gives them a creature from Tiller of Flesh. That's pretty good. Cannot stop that. Could sack it now for the Flourish since it's going to die anyway, but I don't think there's anything great to Flourish currently. I have to see what my 6 cards are. We have a Blight Reaper Thallid, Aerialist, Sea Double, Meeting of Minds, Swamp Island. So Sea Double's the big draw, but Aerialist and Thallid are great, so 3 out of 6 are great draws, 3 are useless. We got 50-50s on our draws. The Thallid's really good because all the creatures made by it are Phyrexians for Glissa to give first strike and death touch. Okay. Hit one of the lands. We do the thing now. I could attack with some more, but I'm just going to leave a lot of blockers up. Alright, 2 chumps, take 10. Oh yeah, but Daxos is going to sit there gaining more life. I could have flourished the Daxos. Still like having it to be safe against something like that. How big is this going to be? 4 or 5? I can kill it with the final flourish. I guess I can wait till the end step and we'll just get the Glissa back either way. We can let them exile Glissa. Okay, now I do the thing. And they are going to scoop it up there. Getting the Glissa back is going to be too much. And that's going to be a 7-2 run out of this quick draft. Very nice. That is 9 games of Magic, the maximum you can get out of a draft event. And yeah, it was a pretty sweet deck overall, 7-2. We'll take another look at the deck before we sign off for today. But pretty much enjoyed everything about the deck. I think the Glissa Splash was super worth it. Many of those games. Any game that went long, we were kind of relying on the Glissa to finish them off. We definitely ended some games quickly by curving out and then just dumping a ton of creatures on board, drawing extra cards, dumping our hand like we said we would. But there were a lot of opponents that could absolutely stabilize, and when that happened, we needed some kind of bomb to close things out in the end, like Glissa, and Glissa's our only card that really fits that bill. Atris and Sea Double, they are bomb level rares, and that they are like that high win rate. They are really good, but it's for different reasons. They don't just like take over the game in the late game board stall. They're just very, very good value plays early on, or a really good trick kind of thing. But yeah, all of our rares played phenomenally, all of our commons and uncommons, everything in the deck did its job and did some very great stuff. So really happy with this one. We did name the deck after the Halo Charge Scab that didn't show up in our draft pod that we would have loved to see alongside Sea Double. So that was my one biggest regret about this deck. No Halo Charge Scab is pretty sad, but we have decent removal, tons of good cheap creatures, and a little bit of good late game. Played out pretty dang well. I will absolutely take it, claim our prize, and that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting this channel, as well as thanking you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you more of these videos in your recommended feed. You can catch me live at the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, or you can check out the Patreon link in the description below if you want to support the channel. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.